It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen, Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays, 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports. Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Holy. What is that?
It's time to get in the game.
You know what time it is.
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
To me, you are nothing.
Your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Start it up, let's go.
Catch us Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into another edition of Centex Prime Time. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We're here to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not only in just the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us today. Not only today, but all weekend, the weeks prior as well. As always, if you want to be able to watch this content, go over to YouTube. That is Centex Sports Network on YouTube, Centex Sports TV on YouTube. If you want to be able to listen to this, whether you're at work, at home, in your car, go over and download the app on your mobile device, Centex Sports One, the app Centex Sports One on the Google Play Store or on the Apple Store as well. Well, folks, last week when we came in here on Tuesday, had a lot to talk about. The Jets had just fired their coach, and we're coming here on Tuesday once again. Somehow the Jets still making news once again as they've just now finalized a trade for Devontae Adams. The Cowboys have been in the news because of Jerry Jones and what he had to say to his colleagues. Well, you know, they're not his colleagues, but what we thought were his friends before time at 105.3 FM up there in Dallas. But he had a lot to say on that radio show too, so he made news as well as he went on for his weekly interview. You know, why is the owner having a weekly interview? But that's a whole nother topic. Went on there for his weekly interview and had a whole lot to say. So we'll talk about that today. I'll go through my NFL top 5 as usual, like I do on Tuesdays, and we'll recap this NFL weekend that we just got to see. Joining me in studio today, I've got somebody y'all hear weekly on the show, but he's in studio this time, Kyrell Gibson. Kyrell, what's going on?
What's going on, man? What's going on? It's quite a week to bring me in, but I'm here nonetheless. So
yeah.
Go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
Well, look, we ain't going to start with the Cowboys, so it'll be okay. We'll go ahead and go to talk about some other stuff. We got to talk about the New York Jets and what they had going on last night. They lose a game, dropping a game to the Buffalo Bills, a game that I thought they should have won. Me and you were both on the show yesterday. We said we were going to take the Jets plus 1.5 if we had to pick. We was right on the over there on that 41.5 points. Y'all need to tap in with me if you haven't yet. But they lose the game to the Buffalo Bills, dropping them to 2-4 on the season. Close game, a game that was very winnable for the New York Jets. It was 20-17 at halftime, and after Aaron Rodgers threw another Hail Mary, I don't know if that's luck or if that's just kind of his thing at this point. But he throws another Hail Mary, makes it 20-17 at halftime, and then the second half is just lackluster. New York kicks one field goal in the third. Buffalo kicks one field goal in the fourth to win the game. Another game-ending pick, another game-ending interception for Aaron Rodgers as he threw one as time expired. His only turnover in the game, but it cost him. It really was a good play by the corner. He was able to go out and make a play on the ball. It wasn't just a terrible pick from Aaron Rodgers, but nonetheless, that is 2 weeks in a row of ending the game with an interception. So the Jets, they fired a coach last week. They removed play calling duties from Nathaniel Hackett. They make the DC the interim head coach. They bring up another guy in the offense to call plays, even though I think Aaron Rodgers is probably the one calling plays. Aaron Rodgers said that it was Mike Williams' fault on that last play on the interception because he didn't run the right route, showing Aaron Rodgers amazing leadership skills that he's had over his career once again. And he blames it on this guy, and he brings his homeboy in the very next day, man. I mean, I try not to say everything is all on Aaron Rodgers, like Kyrell was saying last week, but it's tough. It's tough not to think that after seeing what we've seen, man. Aaron Rodgers just isn't playing good enough, and he didn't play a terrible game last night. It's just not good enough. We talk about all these other quarterbacks around the league and how they get blamed for when there's losses. We can't skip out on that blame when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. It's not all his fault, but your team is 2-4, and they brought you in here to get wins. So, Kyrell, what did you think about this game yesterday? Buffalo winning 23-20 against the Jets on Monday Night Football.
Man, it was fun. So, like, first half, I guess, that was a fun game to watch. You know, get a Hail Mary, the kickers are missing field goals. Just, you know, things are happening to keep you interested.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's up with all the penalties, man. That was something that was kind of, I'm thinking is a result of the lack of preseason games. But the penalties just took over this game, man. We couldn't. The over should have got smashed. Should have been smashed. 30 points from each team easily. You look at the stats that these guys have. You get two receivers with over 100 yards. You're putting up. You expect to put up more than 21 points. So when we're looking at this and looking at Aaron Rodgers and how he performed, I actually wasn't too disappointed in his performance. I thought he played okay. It's just both teams shot themselves in the foot repeatedly, almost to the point that it wasn't even watchable. So you got that. And then on the other side, you know, before when we talked last week about this game, it was one of those things, you know, I was saying that it was going to be a big Breece Hall game. Turned out to be a big everybody game. Yeah. Everybody got the numbers. So I still have faith in this Jets team. I'm not calling it quits on my Rodgers conspiracy yet. You know, they say I saw DeMar Hamlin got his Rodgers jersey after the game. People was talking about he only got the jersey because Rodgers wanted to check out if he was a clone or not.
You can't get on Twitter, man. They always gonna say something wild.
Man, he wanted to make sure that dude wasn't a synth. It's crazy. But yeah, man, I still got a little bit of faith in the Jets. Actually, they really, I don't know what they look like as far as the run defense. I thought Quinnen Williams would, you know, kind of alleviate those problems, but you know, despite his greatness, they're still getting beat around the edges and things like that. Davis looked like he could be RB1 over there. So, but he's not, you know, so that's the backup. Yeah. You know, do the Jets even have a run defense at this point?
No.
Yeah, man, this season is definitely on Rodgers. We were talking about it before the show. Woody Johnson is definitely, hey, they not finna come.
It's on you.
They not coming at me. I guarantee you that they're not gonna say nothing to me. This is it. You want Devontae Adams? Cool. Here you go. Y'all talk about this man. Old Woody ain't did nothing. I'm just here counting my billions. That's all I want to do. But yeah, man, this is gonna be on Aaron Rodgers. You know, you got to get this team. That's why the leadership that you were talking about is so important. You know, you coming out calling out Mike Williams. Yeah, he's not gonna see the field no more. But you calling him out. Where's the accountability? You fix penalties with accountability. Everybody doing their job, worried about their assignment. You know, knowing what they have to do. I don't think that's the way to alleviate that on your team. You got to show some type of leadership, or you know it's gonna be the type of season you're gonna have. I don't know what they're gonna do from this point forward, but if they can alleviate those penalties, this is a good football team. You got, like, honestly, the Lions have a more talented team because their front five on offense is good. Yeah, probably the best in the league. Four first-round picks, if I count correctly. So y'all should be good, you know? Y'all ain't doing nothing special over there, okay? And you get the top 5 pick 10 years in a row. You hit on 4 of them, all right? So, yeah, good job. But, you know, outside of that O-line for the Jets, man, they're good. 2 top receivers. 3 top receivers at this point because Lazard was the number 1 in Green Bay at one point.
He was.
So you got 3 number 1 receivers. two potential best receivers in the league if they put together the right season. That's crazy. Breece Hall, top 5 back. That's crazy. Other side, you got playmakers. Okay, you got C.J. Mosley. I don't even know how to spell this word, but Wiley Vet. We say that all the time. But what does that really mean? But yeah, Wiley Vet, C.J. Mosley. Sauce Gardner. DJ Reed is a good number 2 corner. Great number 2 corner. I'm not going to say good. He's a great number 2 corner.
Great.
You got the pieces, man. They putting it in Aaron Rodgers' hands, Nathaniel Hackett's hands. That might be the downfall. But it's y'all. It's y'all too. Y'all got that man fired. I'm gonna stand on that hill until proven otherwise. Because I thought I was gonna be able to come in here today and be like, hey, Rodgers had 4-5 touchdowns. But he really played okay.
He did.
Two receivers had 100 yards. You was hooping. And then you backdoor get Devontae Adams. Y'all have to win. I mean, y'all don't have to win the whole thing, but y'all have to be a top 3 team in the AFC. The Bills, they saw that, man. They wasn't playing either. Devontae? Oh, well, okay. We got to go get Coop.
Man.
We got to go get Coop. The AFC is washing the NFC at this point, and the Jets need to be a part of that top tier in the AFC, and they're making moves to do it. Aaron Rodgers is looking like it might come together. They just got to keep him off his behind, man. He's taking some hits. He
can hit way too much.
Yeah, he's at that point. He got them Romo bones now, man. So you're gonna have to. Y'all got to keep that man up. He was seeing Tweety birds and things like that when he was getting up a couple times, but I still think the Jets can turn the season around. Maybe not 11, 12 wins, but probably 10. I'm thinking 10. They got the pieces, man. If they don't, I don't even. Who do you tell on?
Yeah,
you got to go with Rodgers because Woody. Look, man, these owners, they're not getting rid of the teams. Woody, Jerry, Steve, it's not going nowhere. They're not selling the teams. You better call your PI or something, man, if you want these guys to sell the team because they're not coming off.
Yeah, he got to, like you said, with them going and getting Devontae Adams, bro, Aaron Rodgers, this is going to be on you. Like you just alluded to, Woody Johnson is coming out and saying, hey, bro, there's not going to be too many more excuses and ain't finna be too much more blaming everything on me. This is going to be stuff starting to get directed towards you now, and he's doing that now and going and getting Devontae Adams. Like you said, Rodgers didn't play terrible last night, but definitely moments where he could have played better. And that O-line has got to play better. It's got to play better. They're spending too much money on that O-line. The tackles they went and got are older guys. They went and got a Tyron Smith who's older. They went and got Morgan Moses on the other side who's older. But you got to do a better job. Tyron Smith got beat almost every play last night except for maybe 3 or 4 where I seen him do some old Tyron Smith stuff. But besides that, he's getting beat almost every single play out there. Joining us in studio, we got Rocky Miller here with us as he is every Tuesday. Rocky, what's going on?
Hey, man. It's a tough week, man.
Yeah.
Tough weekend. Tough weekend.
Yeah.
Prairie View lost to Arkansas Pine Bluff
yeah.
on ESPN2.
Then
Colorado lost.
Oh, man.
In a close one to
Kansas State.
Kansas State was a really competitive game.
Yeah.
They had that spread right.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens. Yeah. It always seems to come out right or very close. And then at Jerry's World, I'm not sure what that was. You laughing a little too hard.
Yeah, it's just because out of all the weeks to have both of y'all in the studio, this is the week after what happened to the Cowboys that we get both guys in the studio.
Said, it was tough to watch, man, and I watched way too much of it. I probably should have threw in the towel at halftime, but
I've seen I've heard that from multiple Cowboys fans just in the last couple of days that they sat through and for some reason watched the whole game. What's wrong with y'all, man? Why did y'all I would have been turned halftime. I'd have turned that off.
But it really was not another good game on TV.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
And then when you get that itis after Sunday dinner,
yeah.
You kind of get stuck in your seat. But nah, man, I really think what we were hoping was Dak specifically was going to show some signs that we could get in the end zone, and then maybe we could then ask the defense to make a stop. Like I think what I was looking at is that we couldn't get any momentum because we weren't able to score. That momentum would have given the defense a little energy, I believe. And then we would have had a chance to kind of fight our way back to the game. Even you know how in the Baltimore game we got one of those cosmetic losses where, you know, we lost, but at the end it looked a little better.
Yeah.
Well, like Detroit wasn't having it. They had a vendetta or a score to settle for some reason. You know, and it had something to do with their offensive line.
Man.
Yeah. And you know, and after doing some research, I realized what it was when their touchdown got called back last year.
Yeah,
I think
Skipper.
I think it was week 17. No, probably week 15 or 16.
Yeah, somewhere at the end of the season.
Yeah, they would have beat us if they had allowed that touchdown.
Yeah, the Dan Skipper didn't check in, call whatever they wanted to say happened.
So
they remembered that.
Yeah, they were trying to get that touchdown. So my point is saying that they had a score to settle. They were standing on business.
Yeah.
And they stood on our neck the whole game.
From start to finish.
They didn't give us nothing. They didn't give us anything. So, but that's good. But again, surprisingly for me, I looked at the game for what it was, meaning that I don't think we're gonna go into a game again with that complete of an offense, and then our defense being that depleted again. You know what I mean? And then we'll give Zim another opportunity to see if he can put together a defensive strategy that'll work against a good team. We got a lot of good teams coming up, so we ain't got enough. Here's my deal. It won't be like in years past where we don't know how good the team is, even going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
we gonna know exactly what the Cowboys are this year by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, definitely with their schedule.
We got another month. We're gonna know exactly what they are. And so as a fan, I think that's a good thing. We can set our expectations, you know, and let them know, you know, and say, hey, okay, we realize we're not very good, and you know, we're gonna need to let's get the best pick we can, or we can go, hey, we're battle tested. We can take on any team in the league and be competitive. And if we happen to get them at home, you know, we got a shot. I think there's a lot of parity in the league this year.
Definitely.
You know, Detroit looked great against us, but I saw Detroit. They played somebody 16 to 10, 20 to 16. I watched the game. I remember the score, and Jared Goff looked like Jared Goff.
The Cardinals, 20 to 13 against the Cardinals.
Yeah. Jared Goff looked like Jared Goff. He won't look like Joe Montana every week, guys, so you don't have to worry about that. But again, one thing I would do, I'll definitely open up that roof if I ever get them back at home again. I'm not going to leave that roof because Jared Goff indoors.
Oh, yeah. Seems to be a different animal.
Oh, man. And, man, you know, Jared Goff indoors is a different quarterback. Jared Goff without any pressure. And just think about this, guys. We missing DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah.
Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, now, Kyrie, you can probably look at it like this too. You know, I know you looking all down over there. But Kyrie, look at this. Look at all the look at all the backup players that are gonna get live game reps, and just think how much better they're gonna be next time they called into action.
In action. These dudes, Dorrance Armstrong is in Washington. Sam Williams out for the season. Marshawn Nealon probably out for a long time. Wheatley, Lawson's
but Golson made more noise in this game than he'd have made in probably 2 years.
Because he played. He been on the bench the whole game. Like
but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah. I had to remember. I'm like, we still have Golson because I remember maybe a year, Micah's rookie year. Mm-hmm. Golson was raising some sand, and he
that dude. It's talent. Do you expect a different result over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
You know, Kyrell, our team is going to go as far as Dak is going to take us. That's the reality, man. That's
a loaded statement.
Let's not play games about it.
Yeah,
Our team
I
is
agree.
going to go as far as Dak will take us. If Dak plays like an MVP candidate, we'll make the playoffs. And we'll have a chance. If he plays like
He's been playing.
he's been playing, we look at, you know, hey man, we don't have the kind of team that we get opportunity to tie the game up and you throw a pick.
Mm.
We don't have the kind of team that can overcome that. Just think how that changes complexion of the game if we get that 10 points there.
Yeah.
You know,
Completely changes.
change the complexion of the game. And really, this is really my problem. We've put ourselves in a situation, fair or unfair, where it's all on Dak. We don't have any substantive running game.
None.
You know. And so with that being the case, and I don't even see us having the ability to adopt the running game. Dow was not it.
No.
Zeke's not it.
Mm-mm.
I'll say this here. Whoever's going to carry the ball for us next year is not on our roster right now.
Oh no,
For sure. For
Look
sure.
across the league. Now this is no slight of Dowdle. I don't blame Dowdle for anything.
Yeah.
How do you know? That's we gonna get into that later. How do you have your best game as a Cowboy against the Steelers, and then some guy, I ain't gonna say some guy, 15 complains about his carries, and now he gets more carries than you the next week after not doing nothing the whole, but that's a culture thing. But look at these other teams across the league. Last night, today's Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Last night, we watched the Bills and Jets game. Who's the Bills starting running back? James Cook. Who was the running back that ran for 100 yards?
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis from wherever.
Beaumont, Alabama.
Right.
I don't know where.
Right, exactly. We have no idea, but that's what I was just telling Jack.
We
before the
don't
show
have
started.
again. This is okay. Let's go back some years before Aaron Jones. Who did Aaron Rodgers have at running back?
James Stark, Eddie Lacy, random guys. Yeah.
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy, James
I'm,
Stark.
I'm saying it's for us. It's McCarthy's system.
Mm.
It's McCarthy's system. It's not the running back. It's McCarthy's system. I want to say McCarthy probably has 4 running plays in his whole offense. Anybody who watches the Cowboys any length of time,
Yeah.
he has about 4 running plays.
Yep.
And
Have we ran off tackle all year?
No.
Have we ran off tackle?
The answer is
I
no.
was on zone play. I don't think it's all inside.
But it is backs too, though. It is McCarthy's system. But down there wasn't going to be the answer.
Well,
And-
what I'm
in
saying is
whatever
we don't,
system.
if we, this is kind of play caller McCarthy is. He'll put in 2 tight ends, right? Get in the shotgun and pass it every single time.
You got Gronk and Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
well, what I'm saying is, why are you pass? If you're going to get in that heavy formation,
Mm-hmm.
they're just going to treat, once they realize you're not going to run, they're going to treat the tight ends like wide receivers, and then you're going to pay, like I say, I just think it's on Dak, man. They put it on his back. They giving him that $60 million, and they say, hey, man, it's your team. It's all about you. You and the coach, Ace Boone Coons, y'all going to see mama. You know what I mean? You acting like, Dak McCarthy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, come on, man. I just think it's all on Dak. And again, I'm a Dak guy. I like Dak. But I don't know if a Dak is an all by himself kind of guy.
He's not.
We know.
definitely not.
We do know that. He's not.
You had to pay him though. Every quarterback.
No, it ain't. I'm talking about from a team building standpoint. Like you gotta get Derrick Henry.
You have to.
You gotta get Swift.
Cap hit this year is less than Trey Lance, by the way, for Derrick Henry. on the Ravens. $5.1 million cap hit in Baltimore.
They ain't had the
$5.3 million
money.
cap hit.
Don't they still got $20 million in cap right now?
16 or 25,
But
something like
No,
that.
it's 24.
But
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't have
Oh,
but they
that's
ain't
not
had the
bad.
money to get, you know.
But that money's earmarked though for Jake Ferguson. Come on, dude. This is what I'm saying, man. Like it's Dak, but eventually, when you have a good quarterback, you're going or a fringe top tier quarterback like this, you're going to run into this problem. Do you pay him what the market tells him to get? Joe Burrow got that. Jalen Hurts got that. He wasn't the highest paid, but Jalen Hurts got in that realm for a little bit. Every quarterback that wins games and puts up numbers is gonna get that. Once you get to this spot, you still have to have weapons. Look at these other teams, man. Like I would say the Jaguars, 1-4 Jaguars,
1-5
drop touchdown passes every week from Trevor Lawrence, have a better receiving core than the Dallas Cowboys. We have CeeDee Lamb, and we have, I guess if you want to count Jake Ferguson as a good tight end, because he's not great, but a decent tight end. But I look at the Jaguars. You got Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. As a whole, that's better than what we got, honestly.
It is.
You look at the running back room.
ETN.
UMHB. Like what you like? Come on, you can't tell me Zeke out there look like he should be playing semi-pro, man.
You might should.
And then we have, like, especially last week, you take your guard, swing him to tackle, even though he's played good at tackling the pass, but you still swinging him out to tackle, bringing in a backup for many years in TJ Bass, a rookie in Cooper Beebe, and what's looking like after this week, maybe watch Zach Martin. And then Tyler Steele, whatever his name, Terrence Steele has never been good. He's been solid, but look, we traded good. This the ghost of Doug Free right here, man. Like it's just hey,
ghost of Doug Free.
The most we can get out of our right tackle is okay. We never had a Pro Bowl right tackle. It's always been okay. False starts, holdings, sacks, but he's all right. We got Tyron over here. We got somebody. The team is worse. And like, it's not like Dak. You know, Jerry alluded to this on that crazy phone call he had today.
Yeah,
he alluded to this.
That in a minute.
Oh well, we paid a quarterback $60 million. That don't mean he's Peyton Manning just because you paid him money like that.
That just means you gave him money.
That just means you gave him money. If you're disappointed in that dude, then okay. But bruh, just because you gave this man 60 M's, don't mean he gonna magically turn into Peyton Manning. Dak is regressing before our eyes because you have taken his toys away from him. Right? You traded Amari Cooper for a 5th round pick. What did Amari Cooper go today? Go to the Bills today for?
I don't even know.
Okay. I mean, what did the Browns get from the Bills for that?
Nothing.
Please look it up because I'm telling you, we traded him for a 5th round pick. Look up what the Browns just got for Amari Cooper 2 years later, and tell me this isn't the worst front office job in the history of like they can't do anything. And you want to come in here and get mad at them dudes on the microphone? You created this, right? They
got a 3rd round pick,
dude,
for Amari Cooper right now.
Rocky, am I?
Look, hey, we're gonna come back to this because I gotta get a quick break in, and we gotta bring up this Jerry Jones thing what he just talked about. So, folks, we're gonna go to a break right quick. Please stay tuned because, as you can see, we got a lot to talk about on today's show. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Jerry Jones stuff. I still got to do my top 5 teams in the NFL, so we got plenty to talk about. Stay tuned and stay locked in right here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this break.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian Egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding, peach cobbler make you want to holler for me. It's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's the sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie. 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop and Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time. Hope everybody out there is having a great Tuesday afternoon / evening, depending on where you're watching from. Haven't got too much of the fall weather. Still 90-something degrees outside. Supposed to get a cool front coming in tomorrow. Hopefully that happens, because I'm tired of having to sweat walking around in October, man. It's not right. It's supposed to be fall. Baseball playoffs is on. NBA season about to start, NFL season in full force. Where at this point in time of the year, we supposed to already be cleared on this hot weather.
I ain't even put on one hoodie.
Not one. I can't wait to put mine on tomorrow if it's cold like it's really supposed to be. Folks, as always, if you want to watch this content 5 to 7 Monday through Thursday, go over to YouTube, Centex Sports Network, Centex Sports TV on YouTube. If you want to listen to this content, go to on your mobile device and download the app, Centex Sports One, on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. In studio today, got a full house. Kyrell Gibson in studio with me today. Rocky Miller in studio with me today as well. And right before we got off, we were just talking about the Cowboys and some of the things going on around. And as if they didn't give us enough to talk about on Sunday after that performance, Jerry Jones follows it up, goes on the radio show, has a lot of things to say. He ends up getting into it with one of the guys at 105.3 that's been the Dallas Cowboys station out there in Dallas. I know plenty of you guys listen to it. I listen to it. I used to listen to it every day when I lived in Dallas. And those guys do a great job and have been doing a great job over there. Jerry Jones came on there today, attacked them for coming at him just for having questions about the job that he's done after he came out and said he's the de facto GM. He makes all the decisions. Okay, well, you had all this to say, and we ask you a couple questions. Now you telling dudes you're going to lose your job, and that pretty much stop laughing while I'm talking to you. You're going to lose that job. If you don't, I'll find somebody else coming here. Crazy remarks from Jerry Jones. We see the news of Devontae Adams getting traded, going to the New York Jets, something that some people thought the Cowboys should have reached out to Devontae Adams. I was one of those people. I thought that would have been a great duo with Dak and with CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams out there. Could have got some pressure up off of Dak. We saw Amari Cooper, somebody that the Cowboys traded just a couple years ago, as Kyrell was alluding to right before break. how he was traded for a 3rd-round pick 2 years after the Cowboys traded him for a 5th-round pick. Not sure what's going on at all, and Jerry Jones just piling on top of it. I'll let the 2 Cowboys fans take it from here. What did y'all think about Jerry Jones' comments with the Dallas Cowboys? Rocky, I'll go ahead and start with you, man. What did you think about these comments?
Man, he's dealing with a lot of frustration, man.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is.
I mean, a lot of the problems the Cowboys are having are cultural. And in Dallas, Jerry Jones has set the culture for over 30 years. So whatever is the problem, he is a part of it, you know. Now, if the Cowboys are to turn this season around, he has to be part of the solution as well. So that's the reality. And you know, we get, you know, Kyrell during the break, we were talking about, you know, Jerry Jones being a problem. My point is this: complaining about Jerry Jones being a problem is like complaining about the heat coming off the sun. There's nothing you can do about that. He's gonna be the general manager until something happens.
Yeah,
you know. And we know that's something that has to happen. Yeah. And I don't wish nothing bad on nobody. But
it's the truth.
You know, he won't be the GM forever.
No.
You know, but you know, as long as he stayed in good health and in good mind, he's gonna be the GM. And again, and let's take an honest assessment of Jerry as a GM. As a GM, Jerry is better than half of the GMs in the league currently right now.
Probably.
So odds are, if he hires another GM, he's just going to hire somebody that he's going to end up firing anyway. Why? And if it's the job that he wants to do, then as the owner, it's his privilege to do it. Now, my point is, as Cowboy fans, we have to be realistic about expectations. Time to have that conversation. Can these guys that currently in uniform get to the ultimate prize? Get to it. And to this point, the only thing you can say is no. These guys can't. Now, have we had a full complement of defensive players along with a full complement of offensive players? No, we haven't. You know, I think Bland coming back will add a punch to our secondary to allow them to probably do a little more blitzing, and because that's what we have to do to get pressure on the quarterback and, more importantly, stop the run.
Yeah.
You know, and that has to take some pressure off that defense and put some points up. Now, we're going to have to put points up through the air. So all that running game stuff, and we need to run the ball more, y'all can stop that. That's not what Mike McCarthy does. You go back as far as you want to go back while he was the coordinator at
Green Bay.
At Green Bay, he's not a guy that's going to. But here we can get production out of running backs. My problem is we're not getting production out of running backs. We're not getting production in the screen game. We're not getting any flare passes. We're not getting we're atrocious in 3rd and 3 or less. You know, we need to just stop trying to run the ball when it's 3rd and short. Only team more often than us in 3rd and short is Colorado. Like, and I'm talking about the Buffalo.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is saying that there's definitely room for improvement. But I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I'll take our roster and our quarterback over 2/3 of the other teams in the NFL.
2/3 is a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That only leaves about 10 to 12 teams.
It's 32 teams in the league, and I'll take our roster over at least 12 teams.
On both sides of the football?
No, total roster.
I'm not taking our offensive roster on.
Over 20-something teams in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take our total roster.
Where is it ranked? Where is it ranked in our division?
In our division?
Yeah.
What's second?
Second.
Our rosters,
I don't know.
Our roster's clearly better than New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clearly better, in my opinion, than Washington.
That's a toss-up.
I don't see what I don't know, and by no measure, you can't. Who's on Washington's defense? That's what I thought.
I'm taking Dallas's roster over Washington's roster.
And then
still
really,
right now,
you take the Eagles roster, right? But really, they only have us in two positions. They have us beat clearly in two positions. Okay. Running back.
No.
And wide receiver.
Yeah. O-line.
O-line as well.
Tight end.
D-line as well.
No, I'm not taking them. I'm not taking that D-line.
I like they got.
I'm only going to say it's clear. It's debatable. I'm saying they have a clear advantage. Wide receiver and running back. Everything else.
Tight end, O-line. I give you quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah.
I give you quarterback. Everything else on that offense.
Okay, let's say O-line. Because I'll give you O-line.
Yeah.
But everything else is debatable. You can debate everything. I'm not saying Dallas is better, but you can debate. You can make cases for Dallas having the best
D-line.
D-line. And I kind of, in this day and age, I kind of put front sevens together.
Yeah.
Because linebackers
work together.
And nowadays are just as much responsible for the rush as they are stopping the run. You know what I mean? So I kind of put front. So if you look at front seven, we're in the same. But and then when you put that secondary, I think you
have a clear advantage.
Well, yeah, we have a better secondary. So my point is, the division's there. Also, when you look at other teams in the league, we can go through out west. I think we have a better roster than Seattle. I think we have.
I don't know. That's another team that's kind of built like the Eagles.
I think we have a better roster than Cardinals.
Yep,
for sure.
I think we have a better roster than the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would concede that we have San Francisco has a better roster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say we have now this is because our roster. Now the NFC North is kind of tricky because we saw
it's the best division right now in football.
We saw that Detroit has clearly a better roster.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Chicago actually has a better roster than
we do. I was going to say that too.
Yeah. And then I think I have
Bay.
to really dive. Yeah.
Green Bay definitely does.
See, Green Bay has a better offensive roster. I don't know if their defense.
I'm right there with their defense as well. They got a Rashawn Gary, Frank Clark, Quay Walker is just as good as any of our linebackers, and Jair Alexander is better than Trayvon Diggs.
Xavier McKinney leading the league, and I tried to tell you about Jair. I tried to tell you about Jair last year. You didn't want to listen.
We've been arguing.
Xavier McKinney leading the league in picks too.
So in that case, there's all four of those teams that have better rosters than we do. In you guys' opinion.
The South.
I think Minnesota. We would compete with Minnesota.
Yeah. Roster wise, yeah.
Coaching is their advantage.
For sure. Yeah, coaching is their advantage.
And then you look over at
South.
In the South, there's not one roster. Maybe Atlanta, but I don't want Kirk Cousins. So I wouldn't take Atlanta's roster for that.
Oh,
reason.
we got the quarterback. We have the quarterback.
No. What I'm saying is I wouldn't take Atlanta's roster because of their quarterback. You know what I mean?
But they have a better roster than us outside.
I don't think so.
Their secondary is better. Their receiving core is better.
Running back room.
Running back room is definitely better.
Tight end room. Better.
I mean, on paper, I would say on
Drake
paper.
London has gone for 150 this year. Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kyle Pitts
they have
is
a more
games.
complete. They have a more complete wide receiver roster. They have complete running backs, but what they have at quarterback, offensive line.
Well, that's my point. We have a quarterback, but devoid of talent is what's looking like on offense.
Well, I think the way that we're trying to win, Kyrell, is the problem with us. Putting it all on Dak, is the issue, and it's funny to say like we're happy with our quarterback, but we really are as Cowboy fans. I'm happy with my quarterback. It's just that we've put our fate in the hands of one player, two players at best, offensively, CeeDee Lamb and Dak. And we knew that going into the season that we needed some help in that area, and we chose to stand pat. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why we decided to stand.
You just look at the landscape of the league. Look at the way our roster is constructed. It is not up to par with these other teams. Even Minnesota has a Jordan Addison as a number 2. You know, that's a high draft pick resource.
T.J. Hockenson, the tight end.
T.J. Hockenson, the tight end. We're devoid of talent, and it snuck up on us. But you look at all these other teams, right? Alan Lazard, Gary Wilson. That's a better receiving core. You know,
I don't think so.
I would guarantee it. Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert.
I don't think there's.
But then you got to say Gary Wilson is as good as CD to say that they're better.
I would say he's
now with Devontae Adams, obviously, but
I'll say they have 2 top 30 receivers. We have a 1 and maybe a top 50.
Right. Well, again,
I'm going there.
You ain't lying. That's what makes it funny. So I want to bring this question to it before we go to the break for top of the hour. All the news about the Dallas Cowboys, all the news about the New York Jets. Who is in a better situation moving forward, going from here? Both teams are locked in with quarterbacks right now that are honestly underachieving. Obviously, I would take Aaron Rodgers over Dak, but both quarterbacks are underachieving. When you look at teams that getting these middle-of-the-pack quarterbacks and finding a way to build around them, Jared Goff, you give him a middle-of-the-pack quarterback contract to match his middle-of-the-quarterback play. Baker Mayfield, middle-of-the-pack quarterback with a contract to match that play. So now we can keep Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Vita Vea and all these guys. Atlanta, this is their only chance with this because they keep giving Kirk Cousins top money. So this is their only chance to be able to do that. But when you look at these other teams that are giving quarterbacks contracts to match their play, they've been put in a better situation. The Jets and the Cowboys are both sitting in a bad situation because of they put all their eggs in one basket in the quarterback, and then when the quarterbacks underperform, they're out of there. Now, the Jets, I believe, have a much better roster. I mean, obviously, they just added Devontae Adams now to go with that. So whose situation would you pick going for? Who is in a better situation, not only this year, but just moving forward, the Jets or the Cowboys?
Well, see, that's a loaded question.
It's a very loaded question.
Because I'd take the Patriots, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Colts, and Seattle, and the Dolphins, and the Jaguars. And
over what?
The Rams and the Bills and the Dolphins over what we have left. No, over what we have left on the schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our problem is not our roster. Our problem is our schedule.
It's a two-parter.
Yeah.
The problem is the roster. It's also the schedule.
So this year, like looking at that schedule, if Rodgers if they don't make the playoffs, they should just give up. He's done.
They should walk him out with security.
If that defense and that offense
3 years on his contract
can't win that division with that schedule,
yeah,
they not gonna win. Because the only game they got left is the Texans, man, and they play that game in a couple weeks,
which they will win, by the way.
Come on, stop. You don't even believe
they will win that.
They're not gonna believe. They're not gonna win that.
Well, I mean,
we going 14-3, bro. Stop it.
Well,
we're going 14-3.
Again,
stop.
But then when you look at my boys, man, my boys just have a tough, as my grandmother used to say, a tough road to hoe. And again, that doesn't have anything to do with inappropriate women. That means when you out there in the field. And you have
the gardening tool.
Yeah, when you use this. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So you talking about the Cowboys have 49ers.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
The Eagles, the Texans,
Washington,
Giants, Bengals, Panthers, then Tampa Bay, Eagles, Commanders.
See, y'all got a rough stretch, but at the end of that, that's just as easy as anybody else's schedule in the league. At the end of that,
that's what I said.
Once you get past the Texans,
but
that's just as easy.
5 straight games, bro.
You could win the last 6 though.
It's not 6.
Or how many of them was left?
Last 4.
You could win the last 4.
So say
I'm saying after the Texans, every game is winnable. After they get past the Texans, every single game after that is very winnable for them. The Commanders, Giants, Bengals, Panthers, Bucks, Eagles, Commanders, those are all very winnable games.
This is my problem, man. Like, and to answer your question, the Cowboys are in a much better position than
the New York Jets
going forward. If you look into
I'm talking about this year and forward.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're in a much better position. This is why I'm harping on Jerry so much today, man, because you see all the moves the guy made today. he's pretty much throwing the towel in the season. You can tell. That's how he sounded. Whatever this season's gonna be, is gonna be. We're not giving up no resources. Whatever, fine. That may be the right decision. But part of the Dak struggles are his internal clock is thrown off because the O-line is not as good as it was gonna be advertised. It's actually doing about as how you would expect it to be. There's 2 rookies starting on the O-line, right? And last week you had a guy playing out of position. So that's a problem. But that is something that's also going to get better as the season progresses. Rookies get better as long as they're not bust. As long as these guys not bust, they're going to get better. If you add a receiver to this weapon, to this offense, defense, I'm not talking about. That's a coaching problem. That's a coaching and culture problem that you're not going to fix because they can't tackle. So that's not getting fixed. But if you want to at least put points on the board like we were expecting to against Detroit, we expected that game to be like a lot like Detroit versus Seattle, 40-29, something like that. We got for 50,000-9. If all you have to do if you're Jerry is go get a receiver so they can't double CD. So you can't I'm watching how hard is it to stop one guy when the other 2 can't do anything? Jake Ferguson is a good tight end. He's not going to take your offense over the top. That's not him. We have never had a tight end like that. Not even in Jason Witten. I don't care how much I love him. All right. He wasn't Gronk.
Jason Witten was an all-pro. He wasn't Gronk. Gronk one of the best ever, though.
Man, he wasn't never in that Tony Gonzalez conversation.
Tony Gonzalez one of the best ever, though.
But that's one.
But
that's
he was
what I'm
Romo's
saying.
best friend.
Right. He was Romo's best friend. But look up. I want y'all to look up why Dak who made the final call about Dak keeping that job in 2016. His so-called best friend. Y'all look that up for yourself. But all you have to do is add a receiver, and this season is not lost. You have to get Dak some help. My problem with these dudes is they're mailing it in, right? They're mailing it in
for no reason.
And back to the question, we look better, man. Like we're going forward. All we have to do is draft well on defense and get Dak another weapon. This offensive line will get better. We have resources. As long as Zach Martin doesn't retire on us or just become washed from this point forward, we'll be okay. Doug Free. Terrence Steele is okay, but Guyton and BB will get better. Once your center is solid, your whole O-line will get better. But he's a rookie, so he's going to have growing pains. We're going to get better throughout the season, but we could get exponentially better if we got Dak another weapon. But they're not going to do that. They're going to probably pick him up in the draft. This season's a wash. But going forward, we're still going to be in the mix. These years with Dak, we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be competing for the NFC East. It's just, as a team that won 12 games the last 3 years, it sucks to know we're not going to compete for the championship.
Is that the ceiling?
What?
12 wins and a win and one win in the playoff.
That was our ceiling last year because of culture. In the past years because of culture. Now
is that the ceiling going forward?
No, this year?
I'm not talking about this year. This year is obviously a wash. I'm talking about going forward. Is there ceiling with as long as Dak is on his team? Is there ceiling 12-5 and a second round playoff exit at best?
No. Your ceiling is the championship. You just have to draft well because you paid him $60 million. The Bengals are doing the same thing. They're literally in the same position as you, except they have 2 number ones. Like they
got Joe Burrow.
But that's the highest paid quarterback in the league that people were throwing out with the dishwater, as Jerry likes to say, last year. They were talking mad stuff about Joe Burrow because he's from Arkansas, man, wherever he's from. But yeah, we look way better than the Jets. Next year.
But he used to throw the baby out with the dishwater.
He said the good stuff.
Yeah, you want to throw out the good stuff with the dishwater.
Yeah, country sayings. He had a book.
Throw out the good stuff.
He got a book of sayings he want to use today, clearly. But you look at the Jets, man. They're young on defense, I guess. But Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, both them dudes can be gone in 2 years. And now you back to looking for a quarterback.
Do they have more of a Super Bowl ceiling than the Cowboys do in the next 2 years?
Absolutely not, because they don't have if they don't win with Aaron Rodgers, they're back to Zach.
No, I'm just talking about Aaron Rodgers. I ain't going forward. Who knows what the Jets are going to do?
So 3 years. He's
got 3-year contract.
Oh, then yeah.
Devontae Adams got 3 years left on his contract.
Then yeah, but I don't see him playing. I don't see him making it.
I thought this was the last year of Tay's guaranteed money.
Of guaranteed money, he still got more. He still got more years on the contract.
They're gonna have to redo his deal. He's not gonna stick around for it. He's not gonna play nice if they don't tighten up his deal.
I don't think he's going to want to do too much hopping around after what he just had to endure with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the football. I think he's going to just be like, Aaron, you go up there and tell them what I need because I'm not trying to move around. I seen what it was, and the grass wasn't greener on that other side. I went over there, and it wasn't greener. So with them, I think, like you're right, Cowboys obviously have a brighter future. They have Micah. They have other guys on the squad that are younger. So I think they do have a brighter future. But in the next 2 years, I'm taking the Jets' chances as far as who's got a better future coming up because they got Aaron Rodgers still. If he just plays decent, I mean, he didn't play bad last night. Now you're throwing Devontae Adams. I don't know what that's going to look like. You still got Sauce on defense. You still got Quentin Williams on defense. Still got Quincy Williams on defense. Still got DJ Reed on defense. They got guys on both sides of the ball. Will they put it together? I don't know. They're the Jets. I don't think the Jets could ever put it together. I'm just thinking of who has a better situation, at least over the next couple years. After that, they might go right back to the abyss. It's the Jets. After Aaron Rodgers is gone, you've mortgaged your entire future on them anyway, so they might go right back.
I'm looking at the schedule after next week. How will you know if they're any good?
The Jets?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Will they find out against Miami?
They have talent.
Nope.
No. What I'm saying is, they could win, and to me, this is why they fired Saleh. They knew they were going to make the Devontae Adams move. Right?
Get better.
They knew that, and they didn't want. We obviously saw that this game was winnable. They knew the Buffalo Bills game was winnable for them.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't want Saleh in the building.
And you, like I said last week when you made that point, that was the best point that I've heard out of all of the arguments is if you're going to fire him, you have to fire him before you give him a chance to win his job. Like you said, they knew you were going to trade for Devontae Adams. You knew that your schedule is getting significantly easier. Well, I can't say easier. Your schedule's been easy. Y'all just been losing. You lost to the Broncos and you beat the Titans and the Patriots. So the schedule's been easy, and it's still going to be easy. Now that the Dolphins are bad, it's
almost a lay down. If you're truly a good team, it's a lay down.
Only team I see them definitely losing to in this is probably the Bills again, and probably the Texans.
I don't think they beat the Bills. I don't think the Bills. To me,
I want to see how they look with Amari Cooper in there.
Yeah.
Now too.
Yeah.
I think that does add a different dimension. You give him a true route runner. I don't think he had anybody on this team that could run routes. I was looking at them last night. I'm like, y'all, why did y'all do Josh Allen like this? These dudes not even running routes. These are just football players. Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel, they just football players. These are almost kick returners that you gave these guys. So, folks, we're going to go to a quick break. Still got a lot to talk about here. I got to do my top 5 teams in the NFL. I want to touch on a little bit of college football and what we got to see from this last weekend. So stay tuned right here on Centex Primetime. We're going to be right back after this break.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop and Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blaze Nation, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding peach cobbler make you want to holler for me. It's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's the sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie. 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Holy what is that?
It's time to get in the game.
Do you know what time it is?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
To me, you are nothing.
Your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Well, start it up. Let's go.
Catch us Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time, hour number 2 here on this Tuesday evening. Hope everybody is doing great. Some of you guys just now getting off of work. Want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. Some of you guys heading into work. If you work those night shifts, those late shifts, been there before. Want to thank all y'all for watching with us today, listening with us today, whether that's watching on YouTube, on Centex Sports Network TV, or whether that's watching on the app or listening on the app, CentexSports1.com, or downloading the app Centex Sports 1 as well. Here in studio today with Rocky Miller and Kyrell Gibson. They're rocking out with me today here in hour number 1. We just got done talking about the Jets, the Bills, the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones and what he's had to say over the last few hours. It's on the radio early this morning. Don't know why Jerry still goes to the radio and does his interviews. I mean, it's great for that station. I'm sure their views are blowing up tremendously, especially after what he had to say today. But it's not required. It's not a requirement. I've seen him talking about that on First Take. It's not a requirement for him to talk to the press after the games, or a requirement for him to talk to the radio station on Tuesdays. But he does. I'm glad he does, because he gives us something to talk about. But he kind of blew up today. Had a lot to say there. So here in hour number 2, got to do my top 5 teams in the NFL. Want to talk about a couple of these other teams as well, also in the NFL and what they've had going. Before I go to that, though, got a couple quick takes. Want to talk about some NCAA football. Want to talk about this new top 25 that they got now. We just saw the October 12th weekend, I think, lived up to its lure. Everyone was talking about October 12th before the season started, how this was going to be a great college football weekend, the Red River rivalry, even though it ended up being a blowout. Oregon and Ohio State definitely lived up to it. Shout out Oregon, man. They got it done. I thought I had Ohio State winning that game, and I learned my lesson last weekend, and I did not go for any picks on college football this weekend. Had a really good weekend, though, on NFL picks, though. Really good weekend in NFL. Had a clean slate on Sunday. Backdoored on Monday. I took the over, even though they gave me trouble on that 41.5. Yeah. But that was probably the easiest. Should have been the easiest 40 over on 41.5.
They weren't going to tie.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And there's no way to score 1 point.
Yeah, exactly.
There are no free throws in.
I thought they were going to blow it out the water. It was 20-17 at halftime.
Yeah. Well, actually, they had 40 points with about 8 minutes left to go in the in the third quarter, so you was pretty certain they were going over.
I knew they were going over. I was just shocked it took so long.
They took 3 cracks at it, 4 cracks at it, field goals.
So my parlays looked in decent shape. We'll see how it's going to look this week. Some wacky games kind of coming up this week, but after I catch a couple of these injury reports, I'll go ahead and start putting it in. I'm sure Rocky got some of his stuff getting ready and lined up for the weekend as well. But talking about this college football, last weekend was a great weekend. Oregon, Ohio State, like I said, was a great game. Alabama snuck out another win against the South Carolina team. LSU moved up in the rankings all the way to number 8 after beating Ole Miss in overtime. Shout out Kyron Lacey getting that game-winning touchdown there. Penn State came back down by 20. Shocked me because I'm used to James Franklin and Penn State kind of blowing these games after they build their hype up throughout the season. They usually blow one of these type of games, but they actually fought and came back and won that game. BYU in the Big 12 undefeated. They're number 13. That's a shocker. I didn't expect BYU to be a top 15 team at this point in the season. Iowa State, who after a few weeks in the Big 12, we all kind of started picking as our favorites to win that Big 12. They're sitting at number 9 in the nation right now, sitting at 6-0. Unfortunately, Colorado lost that game. Rocky alluded to it a little bit earlier against Kansas State, who's sitting at 17 in the country, now 5-1. Could have been Colorado there, sitting at 5-1, but lost a tough one there at the end. So I want to ask y'all, what are some of the, after seeing all these college football games, what are some of the games that caught y'all's eye this weekend in the college football landscape?
For me, I watched the Texas game. I thought that was I saw some bright spots for Texas. Also, for some reason, the game seemed like Quentin Ewers kind of missed some guys. Seemed like there should have been the game. It was a blowout, but it seemed like
should have been one earlier.
Yeah. And Texas, in my opinion, ended up doing it the old-fashioned way. They end up just bludgeoning them after a while and decide they're going to just run it so they can't stop it, and they went up. Team that I thought was an exciting game, and unfortunately, I don't think the best team won because I think Ohio State is actually better than Oregon.
Same.
But on a neutral site, I think Ohio State could be a touchdown better, to be honest with you, because I believe that in that environment, for Ohio State to perform like that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was great.
Great job. I go all the way down to Colorado. And Iowa State. I don't know what to think of the Big 12. I watched BYU. I didn't think they were all that great.
Baylor should have beat them.
Kansas State. They looked okay, but everybody looks beatable, man. Everybody looks beatable. I'm not certain how good Iowa State is yet. We'll see what they are. They'll get a chance to play pretty decent, but at this point they could probably lose 1 or 2 games.
Yeah,
and still make the playoffs.
Yeah,
because the Big 12 there's so much parity in the Big 12.
Probably out on Utah, so I wouldn't be shocked if they were able to win, lose 2 games and get that, because Utah's quarterback out for the season now. He tried to come back last week, Cam Rising, and was granted another year of eligibility. Now, this has got to stop. It's a sickness at this point, y'all. This has got to stop. I'm so sick of seeing these 30-year-olds. He hasn't decided, but I think the NCAA granted him another year of eligibility since he's missed majority of this season and came back for 1 game last week, still hurt, and now they're saying he's probably going to be out the rest of the season. Could potentially play his 7th year, I think, now in college football, which is it's getting ridiculous, man, like the DeMarcus Cousins meme. It's getting ridiculous. They got to stop this. I'm tired of seeing these 30-year-old quarterbacks playing against 19-year-olds and then saying, man, this guy's good. Well, this is a grown man with a mortgage. He's playing against 19-year-olds, man. Like, this dude going home to his wife and kids after the game. and he's playing against a bunch of 18, 17. If you're talking about the kid from Alabama and the young kid in Ohio State who said they're the best 2 receivers in the league. Kyrell, any games that caught your attention this weekend in this past October 12th, big October 12th splash that they've been talking about, college football?
No. Oregon and Ohio State was cool. I wasn't really too impressed with either team outside of their star receivers at OSU. But wasn't too impressed. I didn't really see the thing I took away from this weekend. You know, you can say what you want about whatever that kid's name is, the Oklahoma quarterback and the freshman quarterback that they have over there. You can say what you want about Oklahoma, but I watched Alabama these last 2 weeks. I watched Ohio State play Oregon. This Oregon defense held the Ohio State rushing game to nothing. I know Henderson had like 83 yards on 10 carries, but he went for 60 on one of them carries.
Yeah.
So they really stymied that run defense. You know, I'm looking at the land, like Iowa State, top of the Big 12. I don't think they're very good, you know, at all. I actually, the Big 12 may be on a down year, man. I think Texas, I'm looking at Texas and I'm looking at Georgia, and I'm thinking those are your 2 best teams. Carson Beck, ever since he's been called out, you know, for his play these last couple of weeks. Carson Beck has been dropping some dimes, man. I don't know if you've seen him.
No, I watched last game against Mississippi State.
So I've had to change my opinion about him. Quinn Ewers, even though he does not look good, you know, and I'm ready to officially change my mind about the positioning of Shedeur and Quinn Ewers.
Should have been changed.
Apparently, because the way he looked, I know he's coming off injury and it's been weeks, but he was missing throws, like missing them left and right. But to me, he's always had a great deep ball, and everything else can kind of be, you can kind of develop down from there. If you can get the hardest one done, cool. Like you can always hit players and stride down the road, but Shedeur is looking better than him at this point.
So what I always say when you really evaluate quarterbacks, it's one of my deals. What would Colorado look like with Quinn Ewers at quarterback? And then what would Texas look like with Shedeur?
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know what to. We're gonna have to see how Quinn looks against Georgia.
Because what ends up happening, I think Quinn Ewers is in a really great situation.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
He has a A1 play caller and an A1 play design. There's probably only 5 or 6 of those in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's some guys that are great play callers, and then there's some guys that are great play designers. Rarely do you get both in the same one. And I think he's both. So a lot of the stuff that he hits that's wide open that he even misses is schemed open. You know what I mean? It's schemed open. And then he doesn't ever have to make the same throw that Shedeur has to make.
Ever.
Yeah, Shedeur has to put the ball in places so where only his guy can get the ball, even though the guys are marginally covered, you know, but he puts it somewhere or whatever. He doesn't get the quick pressure. Just think if he got the quick pressure that Shedeur got, how would he respond to that? Yeah. Like so I don't think any if you're comparing Shedeur, Beck, what's the guy's name?
Carson Beck,
whatever. I think if you put Shedeur and on either Georgia or Texas, they're both national championship teams. You put
for sure.
You put Colorado. You put Beck and Ewers on Colorado.
That's why I differ. I don't think they're gonna be bad or terrible if they go to Colorado. I also agree.
I think they'll be worse.
How do they handle what Colorado what should do? Just the sheer pressure.
We know Quinn can't handle it because when he gets pressured, he gets hurt every year since he's been at Texas.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother. It's the durability thing for Ewers.
Ewers, he sure can't. He for sure can't handle it. He's been hurt every single year he's been in college football. When he gets hit, and he rarely gets hit, he's had a top offensive line every single year he's been in the NCAA, and still finds a way to get hit and gets out.
In the comparison, I would even say this. This maybe sound kind of racist, whatever. But this is one case where the black guy's the least mobile of the three quarterbacks.
The least mobile out of all the quarterbacks we talk. I'm talking about the very least mobile.
Even still, the Quinn versus Shador, that's draft status stuff. As far as just the college football season, I don't think Texas is gonna have. If they go out there and beat Georgia, which is I think their only competition,
I think they're definitely gonna.
I think this is gonna be one of those years where it's like, oh, okay, they had no really
see, when you talk about so you have to realize this: Texas has to do the same thing that every other team does. They have to block, tackle, and take care of the football. In any game against a team like Georgia, and I'll put Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, all those things, they all can be beat because at the end of the day, you have to block, tackle, and take care of the football.
Yeah.
So as long as they do that, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. They're capable of winning any game. But if they go in a game and they don't block, they don't tackle, and they don't take care of the football, they can lose.
For sure.
Now, can anybody force them out of what you would consider their comfort zone? And that's what I don't think. I don't think there's a team that can force Texas.
And we'll definitely see it. This is by far the best competition because Texas has looked great, but they haven't played any top team.
Mm-mm.
They played Michigan was considered a top team when they played them, but as the season has progressed, no one considers Michigan a top team. That's a great win though.
Look at Georgia and look at Alabama, right? Those teams. They've been challenged by much lesser teams that Texas has played.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. I ain't defending them.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not. I mean, they lost to Vandy.
Like they've played better competition than the teams that Alabama, the other two teams that are contending in their.
I wouldn't say they've played better competition. I'd say they've played better against competition. But Georgia's played better teams than Texas has played.
Bama, yeah.
Yeah, they've played Bama already.
So
they played Clemson.
Kentucky is better than Oklahoma?
Maybe.
I don't think I haven't thought Oklahoma's been good this entire season.
So
they haven't played one good game.
And you think Michigan is better than South Carolina?
No.
I don't know. I think Clemson's better than everybody you just named. Georgia beat Clemson. I think Clemson's better than everybody we just named.
I'll give you that just because what they've done
since that loss.
Then. But on that night,
we were all on here saying they were garbage. I was out on Cade Klubnik, and he's played great since that game. Yeah. But and then that might be false bravado as well because Clemson's not going to play any. That was the only hard game they were going to play the entire season. Against Georgia.
They won't play a game until they tee it up against Miami.
Yeah, that's it. Until they play Miami, that is literally going to be their only good team they have to play. And that's only going to be in the ACC championship because in the regular season, all they got left is Louisville and Pitt as their toughest teams left to play. So they're not going to play anybody. But I do think they're better than them. I do think Texas is for sure the most talented team. They deserve to be number one for sure. I think they're the deepest team in the NCAA. I think they're two or three deep at every. I mean, the receivers are just ridiculous. They got five stars that don't even get the ball.
Here's my question as we talk about the game coming up for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a serious concern of mine, is that what are they going to do against a team that can challenge them in the air? Because they've dominated a lot of teams that couldn't challenge them in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to see how styles of play affect their effectiveness of their defense, meaning that, is Georgia going to be able to pass the ball around the yard a little bit?
Yeah.
Does that disrupt their flow? Do they end up, once the team can pass on them, do they get gassed? Because what they do is they stop you in the run, and then you're behind the chains the whole game. And so that kind of, you're very predictable as an offense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if a team can be a little more balanced against them? How is their defense performing?
And that's a huge point because they Texas, like I just said, the best team. I think they deserve the number one. They haven't played a quarterback this season. They haven't played any quarterback that anybody will put out there as respectable so far. The best quarterback they played might have been the young freshman they just played at Oklahoma. And no one considers him a top anything yet. Can he be there? Maybe. well, that's yet to be determined. But I mean, Mississippi State. We know the horrible quarterback. Michigan might have the worst quarterback situation out of all the top Power 4 teams in the nation. So, but this game is going to show a lot. I can't wait to be able to watch this game when they get Georgia. It's at Austin. That's going to be an advantage. That crowd is going to be loud. The stadium is going to be packed. It's one of the biggest stadiums.
Check the point spread.
I'm finna look. It's going to be packed in there. Texas is a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Not bad at all. Not a bad spread at all. The total over under 56.5 points. Not bad at all. I definitely could see them going over that because I think Carson Beck is going to put up points. I do think Carson Beck has proven to me that he'll go out there and they'll put up points. They'll put points up. Texas definitely has the monsters on the other side to be able to match them point for point. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm tempted to even take that over of 56.5. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Both teams challenge through the air. Like you said, the biggest question is, can Texas stop that passing attack that Carson Beck
and the other issue is, can Texas win the grinded out game?
Yeah. We haven't seen that yet. Not this year.
No, I'm just talking about, can they win a low scoring grinded out game?
I don't think they got the running game to do it, honestly.
I mean, I'm going to hope they got the running game to do it because they got the young buck from Waco out there. I hope they got the running game to do it. But like you said, I mean, this is when we're going to figure out. This is when they figure out. This is by far the best team that they'll face. The good thing is they got to play a good team in Oklahoma. So I'll say that they're not great. I mean, but they're not Mississippi State.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just popped in my head. If Georgia loses this game and they don't make it to the SEC championship, are they eliminated from the playoffs?
Yes. In my opinion. Will they have a chance to get back in? Yeah. But I think there's going to be, with it being opened up to 12 teams, I think there's going to be multiple undefeated teams that people are going to want to see get in there, or one-loss teams like a Boise State. Can't put Georgia in there over Boise State. They got 2. Do I think they're better than Boise State? By far. But now with the 12-team opens up, now the committee is going to have to open up their thinking on these one-loss teams.
So my question to you is, okay, I know we're going down the road a little bit, but if you got to take 4 teams from the SEC, and I think that's the requirement. I think
4.
I think you're going to get 4 from the SEC every year until some other team, some other conference, in the group of 5 can show that they're worthy of each one of them getting 2, right? So what 4 teams in the SEC are you going to put in?
Be Georgia.
Georgia's one of them. If you put it like that, the 4 teams are going to get in. It's got to be Georgia.
They're not putting a one-loss Big 12 team over a 2-loss Georgia team.
Oh no, I think the Big 12 is probably getting 1 team in there.
Pac 3 or whatever it is.
I mean, that don't count. I'm talking Power 4.
So Power 4, you got Penn State.
That's what I think 3 teams from the Big 10 are for sure going to go.
So
Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State.
It's 8 automatic bids, 4 large.
It's 8 automatic. Who are the other 4?
I thought all the group of 4 conferences get 1.
Mm-hmm. That's 4. So who's the other? So who's the other 4?
The Power 4.
Yeah, I'm saying that they all gonna get 1, the conference winner. Yeah. So that's 4. That's 4 teams in.
So
it's the other 8.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're gonna put some of those teams in there like a. I mean.
So they're calling it the group of 4. Is that the Power 4 as well? Okay, gotcha.
So that's 4 bids right there. They're gonna throw Boise State in there. They're gonna throw.
Who I was actually thinking was how are they? So
Notre Dame will get in there. They're not in anybody's conference. They'll get in there. The ACC I mean, I don't know. ACC potentially.
Miami get 1. Miami probably get.
That's what I'm saying. Miami and Clemson. Yeah. Think about if Clemson, because Clemson only would have to play Miami.
ACC will get 2. So okay. So I was saying. Oh, I know what I was thinking. 4 and 4 from the Big 10 and SEC.
That's 18.
Texas, Bama, LSU, and the winner out of Georgia and Tennessee. It's gonna be
You got
that fourth
12.
one. If they put 4 in from the SEC, that's gonna Texas gonna get in, Bama gonna get in, LSU gonna get in, and the winner out of that Georgia and Tennessee game in a couple weeks.
Then you go over to Ohio State. They got 4 good teams.
Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. Them 3 for sure will get in.
And Iowa that's undefeated. I don't know.
Iowa State's the one that's undefeated. Iowa ain't even ranked.
Okay.
And they might just for the lore of it to throw one in there. They might put Army or Navy in there just because.
Let's put Notre Dame in there as
Notre Dame
the Big Ten. Just for.
Okay.
Now, I know they're not in the Big Ten, but that would be the 4th.
Yeah.
And then you only get 4 other bids. So
Boise.
I think Georgia still goes if they lose to Texas.
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
But they can't leave it. They can't lose anything else.
They can't lose 3.
They can't lose 3. And they got to protect. They got an opportunity to lose 3.
They may not make it to the SEC championship game. And so
I don't think they're going to make it to the SEC championship game. If they lose to Texas, I don't think they're going to make it to the SEC championship game. Because
I don't quite understand how they're going to determine who plays in the SEC championship game.
It's going to be more confusing than it's ever been now that they don't have divisions within the conferences, like the SEC East and West. It's going to be the most confusing. It's just probably going to be Texas and Bama. In my opinion, I think it's just going to be Texas and Bama because I don't think Bama's going to lose again.
I know rankings somehow factor into it, I believe.
I hope not. I don't think. Yeah, Bama's got Tennessee left. I think they'll beat Tennessee. They got Tennessee. Bama's got a tough schedule too. They got Tennessee, Missouri. They might. Georgia might lose too though. They got to play all these same teams that Bama got to play: Tennessee, Missouri, LSU.
So let me ask you guys this. So it's conceivable that a 3-loss SEC team could get in. Does a 3-loss SEC team deserve to get in over?
No.
Say an undefeated Navy or
No, I don't think so because
he's Navy.
Yeah, Navy or Army, both of them they ranked and both undefeated. You got to get them a shot. When else they gonna do it?
I think one of them has a schedule where they're probably not gonna lose any games other than the one they play each other.
Yeah, they're both.
One of them has a schedule that they're gonna win every game.
Yeah,
until they play. You
got to put one of them in. They ain't never gonna have an opportunity to be in a situation like this where they can get in. Hey, that's what this is about.
Now this is what I was going.
That's what this is
about.
This is
what I'm asking. Isn't it ironic that in the NIL era that you have a service team that could potentially?
What if SMU went out and they only had 1 loss? Where you gonna put them? SMU 5-1 right now, ranked in the nation.
ACC though, right?
Yeah. So where you gonna put them? They don't have Clemson or Miami on their schedule left.
Championship game?
Yeah, they can get to the championship game. I don't know how they're gonna judge that because Clemson's already got 1 loss. Miami's undefeated. I don't know how they're gonna judge. And SMU doesn't play either one of them, and Clemson and Miami don't play each other.
They don't play either one of them. That means they have to be in the championship.
No, because Clemson and Miami don't play each other either.
What's going on?
It's stupid. I hate the way that they've aligned this. It's dumb. I don't know how they're going to pick that. Clemson could win out, Miami could win out, and SMU could all win out. Who you putting in the ACC championship game? Who are you putting in, taking out the college football playoffs?
Clemson and Miami don't play each other.
No. SMU don't play Clemson or Miami either. And SMU is ranked and they're 5-1.
Here's the crazy thing, guys. Here's the crazy thing. If there are 3 teams that are undefeated, would you rather be the team that plays for the championship or the team that gets
leave me out. Let me be SMU and be in the season 11-1, and I don't get to play in the ACC championship.
Well, you may open up with Texas or Bama.
You're just trying to get there. SMU been on the death penalty for 50 years. They just trying to get there. So if they can just get there, now you can start getting some more of these kids from Sock and Duncanville and all this stuff to go there. So college football playoffs is a complete and total mystery going forward.
Absolutely.
I think this is going to be – I thought last year was crazy on picking those 4 teams because it was such a tough pick to pick between Texas and Bama and Georgia and all them. And I think Michigan, all the teams that were in there, it was tough to pick them. This year is going with 12 teams. I think it's going to be even tougher. So I'll be keeping my eye out on this and how these rankings go over the next few weeks are honestly going to be extremely important. So I'm excited to watch some of these teams duel it out. Like Miami can't lose a game against Louisville. Louisville's still a decent team, but you can't lose those games. Clemson, I think they got Louisville on their schedule. The ACC is crazy. The Big Ten is crazy. The SEC is ridiculous. Obviously, they've got 5 teams in the top 10 as well. So
I'm just interested in how they're going to divvy up these slots.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the group of 4 is Big 10,
ACC, Big 12, SEC.
Army and Navy not going.
They're going, bro. You saying that they going?
Both of them play Notre Dame, and then they play each other.
Both of them play Notre Dame.
Yeah, so that's a wrap.
All right. Yeah, they ain't going.
That's a wrap. That's y'all championship. I know one of y'all Navy Army fans is probably gonna clip this like, oh,
again,
championship. No,
if you've watched Army, you know they look pretty tough. Bro.
They do.
The original
they
NIL.
They do. The first NIL. Your payment is service.
Now, hey, they're all getting paid.
Yeah. They're employees of the United States of America. They are getting paid.
The original NIL, man. Yeah.
Matter of fact, in some cases, we find out they're getting paid more than some of the guys on the NIL.
Yeah. And Ben have.
Yeah.
And Ben have for a little minute. They get
Arrows in charge.
Their kids get to go to college for free. Yeah, the NIL ain't getting your kids into college. Y'all might need to think about that. Some of y'all go to Army and some of y'all go to Navy, man. You might pick you up a little something. But like you said, Rocky, it's going to be extremely interesting to see how they divvy up these slots because I have no idea. I do not envy anybody on the college football committee to have to pick between these 12 because that is going to be a super tough job for them to do. Hopefully, they're hoping teams start losing over these next – well, no, they're not hoping that because then it's going to make it even more difficult. I don't know what they're hoping. But they got a tough job, and I don't envy them at all for what they have to do. Before we go over to NFL and pick my top 5 teams, Rocky, talk a little bit about HBCU's Coach's Corner going to be coming on a little bit later tonight.
Hey, man, we got a big show scheduled for tonight. Man, I want everybody to tune in at 8 p.m. Where you can catch us on the air or on YouTube as well. We're going to talk about HBCU had in the SWAC. They had a real tough weekend, man. Meaning that, we had a team down in Texas Southern, down in Houston, that lost a game that a guy missed a punt. Yeah, you heard it right. The guy missed a punt with 20 seconds left in the game,
man.
And that's how they ended up. That's how Texas Southern ended up losing the game. So we're gonna talk about, man, just the state of the SWAC, and we also saw a game. It looked like 2 teams were playing that didn't want to win. Matter of fact, if I had to say, Alcorn and Grambling were playing. And neither one of those teams played like they wanted to win. And so it was a really tough game. And we're going to just intrigue, how much does coaching have to do with those kind of performances and stuff like that, man. We're going to really go in deep. We have a former SWAC head coach at Grambling, Melvin Spears. He actually coached at Grambling and Alcorn. And we're going to have a former player, Bishop Bonnet, who played at FAMU. He's going to talk with us as well. So I'm looking forward to it, man, and we're going to have a great conversation talking about everything in HBCU football.
I can't wait. That is at 8 o'clock tonight, folks. Like you said, it'll be here on air on Affinity Sports Radio, Central Texas, also on YouTube. Tune in on either one of those. Definitely interesting conversation week in and week out. So we just got done talking about a little college football. Before we wrap up the show, I want to go to some NFL football, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays is when I talk about my top 5 teams in the NFL. The list changes from week to week. It updates, obviously, because of what teams are doing each and every week. There are some teams that I moved up and down in the rankings this week, but my teams are kind of similar to what I've been picking the last couple of weeks. So, number 5. My number 5 team in the NFL right now is my Houston Texans. We didn't have to play a tough game this weekend. That's
a bias.
Yeah, that's just shocker, right? I got them in there, but I've had them in there the last couple of weeks, man. We're sitting at 5-1 right now. Didn't get tested last week against Drake May, so that's why I actually had them at number 4 last week, and I moved them down.
The guy first NFL game, they gave up 3 touchdowns.
Hey, man, he got 3 touchdowns in garbage time. We was already on that neck before then. So 5-1 right now, looking like the third best team in the AFC because of the other 2 teams that I have on this list. But we're looking good right now. Texans look good. Like I said, didn't get tested last week, but they're still sitting at 5-1, top of the AFC South. One of the best teams in the AFC, one of the best teams in the league. That's why I got them sitting at number 5. I had them number 4 last week, but I had to move them back a slot because of how things are shaking out. At 4, I got the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. They were on a bye week. So you wonder, how do they move down in the list? They were on a bye week. Still haven't lost. I don't think that they're better than any of the teams I got in front of them. Yes, they're undefeated. Yes, I picked in the first 4 weeks of the season Sam Darnold as my first 4 weeks MVP. I don't think this is going to last for the Minnesota Vikings. Will they be good? Yeah. Will they make the playoffs? Most likely. I got them at number 4, though. That's not a crime. They're at number 4, even though they're undefeated. Number 3, I got Detroit basketball. Detroit Lions sitting number 3 after, obviously, what we just saw happen to the Dallas Cowboys. 4-1 on the season.
Did Minnesota beat Detroit, or have they not played?
They haven't played. Okay. Detroit's losses to Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and they play Minnesota this week. So that's why this list can change from week to week. Minnesota go out there and smack Detroit. Obviously, I'll have to move them around in the list. But who's looked better so far throughout the season, even though Detroit's got a loss? I'll take the Detroit Lions, man. As Kyra alluded to earlier, I think one of the most talented teams in the league, at least on the offensive side of the ball. They took a major blow, and that's definitely going to hurt them in losing Aiden Hutchinson, who I think is top 5 defensive player, top 3 maybe, defensive player in the league, and how he's been playing. He's gotten better every single year. He's leading the league in sacks this year. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for the season after breaking his tibia, I think it was, against the Dallas Cowboys. But I got Detroit number 3. Number 2, the Baltimore Ravens, man. No surprise here. Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs to ever put on cleats, man. They're looking good right now. Their offenses look good since they've been able to get it together after dropping their first 2 games. They've been doing their thing. I gotta leave them there at number 2. Number 1, can't move the champs until the champs lose, man. Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, best player in the NFL. They're 5-0. Andy Reid, the best coach in the NFL. Steve Spagnuolo might be the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. They might have the best front office in the NFL. You got to put them in number 1. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champs for a reason. Still not coming off of my notion that they won't three-peat this year, but that doesn't mean they're not the best team in the league right now. I just think at some point it's gonna stop somewhat. Not saying they're gonna get bad. I just think they won't win the Super Bowl. That's it. But outside of that, Kansas City Chiefs is everything. Yeah, they lost Marquise Hollywood Brown. Yeah, they lost Rashee Rice. And somehow they get Juju Smith-Schuster from playing Call of Duty, and he comes in and gets 150 yards. Kareem Hunt been doing push-ups in the crib for 2 years. He comes in, gets 100 yards. This team is plug and play. They know who to get. They even know what free agents to go and get whenever guys get hurt. And I wouldn't be surprised if they add somebody else to this receiving room. So I got Kansas City Chiefs number 1. So, fellas, I'll let y'all take apart my list. I got Kansas City number 1, Baltimore 2, Detroit 3, Minnesota 4, Houston Texans at 5. What y'all think about the list? Who needs to move out? Who needs to stay?
One thing I'll take issue with is the whole placement of Minnesota. Right?
Okay.
I don't see how you could put the Ravens and Detroit over Minnesota.
Do you think Minnesota's better than Baltimore or Detroit?
I don't think Baltimore has played better than Minnesota. I think Baltimore has 2 losses.
They do. 2 losses.
And I just, and I just think Minnesota's been playing really well.
They have.
Now,
playing great.
Outside of the lack of expectations that you have with Sam Darnold, you haven't seen a situation or a circumstance where they played bad. Where they played. Yeah,
they ain't played great against New York.
But
ain't played bad though.
He played just about like Josh Allen played.
Yeah, he ain't in my top 5.
Yeah. So I'm saying I think you have a bias there toward Sam Darnold, Minnesota, and you don't think they're very good.
Don't.
You haven't seen any proof that they're not very good, but you don't think they're very good. So that's what I'll say. And then the whole Baltimore deal, I probably would even put Baltimore at 4 at this point.
They got 2 losses.
Because they do have 2 losses. I know that Baltimore had a sensational victory this past week. But if I had to really rank it on merit, I can't put Baltimore I'll actually put Baltimore behind your Texans if I was being fair.
I'm not mad at that. They got 2 losses. I ain't mad at that. I was just basing it off of if these 2 teams played against each other, who do I think will win? I definitely think Baltimore would beat Minnesota. The Detroit Lions in Minnesota, they'll play this weekend, and we'll get to see that for ourselves on what that one is. But just of who's looked better so far, in my opinion, that was just my opinion, I think Baltimore and Detroit look better than Minnesota. But I ain't mad at that. Wherever you put Minnesota, they're 5-0. Can't be mad at wherever you place them at. Kyrie, what you think about the list? Who needs to move out? Who you taking in or whatever?
Like the top 2. You gonna think I'm being sour, but
let me guess, Detroit and not even top 10 now.
Precisely, not top 5. Not. I don't think they have a. I think the best one on their schedule is Seattle, and I just think the Cowboys wins aren't much.
That's a pretty good win.
I'm using New Orleans as evidence of that, and they look just as good, just as dominant, and then drop 3 straight. So. I would go a little different. I think the class at NFC North is actually in Wisconsin, and even though that's not my pick, I'm still rolling with Chicago. But I think
that's crazy.
I'm sticking to it. Sticking to it. I'm like,
that's crazy.
But yeah, I'm gonna put Green Bay at 5, man. I like the way they played Minnesota.
Green Bay at 5.
I like the way they played Minnesota. They played Minnesota really, really tight. It was 30-29. You backdoor. I like the way they're built on both sides of the football. It's 1 loss behind the Lions. I just don't think the Lions have played anybody outside of I guess Tampa Bay and Seattle. I don't think the Cowboys are good, y'all. I don't. That's not a tough. I know they won in good fashion, but I'm not giving y'all bonus points or moving y'all up ahead of these other teams just because. Now they're still one of the most talented teams in the league, but I like Green Bay better.
Who's Green Bay played?
Green Bay has played Minnesota, and then
it's you don't have to keep going. It's nobody.
Well,
so I'm looking at.
They in the same boat, and I like Green Bay better.
Okay,
that's about
that's not shocking after 47-9 that you like Green Bay better.
If you like the Lions, that just tells me where your Cowboy stock is, and my Cowboy stock is really low.
It had nothing to do with that win because I had them at number 5 last week. They were just in the NFC Championship last year.
That's fair.
So I don't think that.
That's fair.
That's why I have Detroit where they're at. The evidence is the last year and a half.
Did you give Tampa Bay any consideration?
I did, but if they wouldn't have lost, I would have put them in probably over the Texans if they didn't lose to Atlanta. So having 2 losses, I thought they were going to beat Atlanta.
Just humor me. Tell me who the Texans beat.
Buffalo Bills. Let's go to their schedule. They beat the Bills. They beat the Bears, who are 4-2. And that's it. The Colts are not good. Jaguars aren't good. Patriots aren't good.
And you're sure the Bills are good?
Yeah. I think they're. Yeah. I think they're
good.
10. I think they're a 10-win team. Do I think they're great? No, but they're good. So if the Bills aren't good, who are we considering good? Then the entire NFC ain't good. If the Bills ain't good.
Well, I think. Okay, so if you evaluate the Bills, they beat the Jets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did they beat Baltimore as well?
No,
got destroyed by Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't think so. Did they beat the Chiefs?
No, they haven't played the Chiefs.
Who did they beat?
Only good team. Only 2 good teams they played. They lost to the Texans and the Ravens. It's the only good 2 teams they played.
What are the other teams they played?
Arizona, Miami, Jacksonville, New York.
Okay.
All losing records.
See, and that's why I got
all losing records.
I'm gonna have to switch. No.
But you can say that about a lot of teams, though. There's a whole lot of teams we can say that about. So I'm just letting you go forward with that. But it's a whole bunch of teams we can say that about.
No. I understand the Texans being in there, but but I'm just saying you put a value on the Buffalo win, and I understand why. Okay, I got you.
That's why I had them at 5.
So I'm putting Green Bay at 5. I'm putting Houston at 4.
Okay.
Putting Minnesota at 3.
Okay.
Baltimore at 2. Kansas City at 1.
Taking
Minnesota.
Detroit out.
I wanted to put the Texans at 3, but the head-to-head matchup.
Baltimore must be just simply by the eye test because there's nothing.
I think what we saw was unfamiliarity between the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. I think they got it figured out now. I think that team we saw. I'm not counting that Chiefs loss because that's the best loss you can have. So really, that's a 1-loss team to me. They got a bad loss in Oakland.
A terrible loss against
Oakland, not in Oakland, against Oakland. So I see a 1-loss. I consider them a 1-loss team, and I think.
So how many wins do you have to see? So y'all only had to see 2 wins in order for y'all to put Baltimore back in.
Yes,
because they won.
Yeah, and because I thought Baltimore was potentially the best team in the NFL coming in outside of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Texans good?
Yeah.
Okay, you watch the Bills play the Texans in that game, and then you watch the Ravens play the Bills. That tells you where the Ravens are.
And that goes to my point. I thought both teams handled Buffalo really well.
They did for one team for one half.
Yeah, Houston did for one half. And Baltimore destroyed them from opening play to the end.
And that's why we got to put respect on Minnesota because Minnesota
smacked Houston. That's why I ain't putting them in front of Houston. They smacked us.
I don't know what to do with. You're right. I don't know what to do with Minnesota, but the proof is in the pudding. But I don't trust it. I don't want to eat the pudding, but I
don't trust it at all.
Well, I hate to do rankings based on how I feel about teams because I can feel that the Cowboys are. I mean, you know what I mean? But based on feeling. That's why I try to use a merit-based system in ranking teams.
What's that system though?
A merit-based, kind of like quality victories.
Okay.
Right. So if a quality victory is 2 points and just a regular victory is 1 point, you understand what I'm saying? That means if you stack up quality wins against quality teams, you'll be. So, like for instance, let's go over. We're not gonna argue about Kansas City; they beat everybody, so whatever. So let's look at Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their schedule.
Yep.
And who they play first?
New York
Giants.
Stomped them out.
That would be just a 1 point victory. What would you have?
Yeah.
Who's next?
49ers.
That's a 2 point victory.
Yep.
All right.
Texans.
That's a 2 point victory.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Packers.
That's a 2 point victory.
That's 2 point victory without. With Jordan Love coming back from being hurt.
2 point victory.
I wouldn't get at a 2 point victory, but go ahead. New York.
Oh, okay.
I would give him that.
That was Jordan Love's first game. He ain't played the whole season.
So
that was his first game back.
So okay.
He threw like 4 picks.
Okay. So what I'm saying is,
and then 3 touchdowns the very next week though.
So
because he was getting more healthy.
He did the same shit C.J. Stroud did. C.J. Stroud played the whole game, all the game.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we picking and choosing at that point. So what I'm saying is, Green Bay's a good team. You give them 2 points. Right?
Okay.
So they have 9 points, I think.
Okay.
What they have. The most points you can give Baltimore is 6 based on the victories that they have.
Well, see, this is where, because we got to remember, this is where I take into account that this is the NFL and the bottom really, like the bottom is not really the bottom. I don't think it's fair to give it quality wins versus 1 point versus 2 point wins. I think you got to look at the capability of the teams. How can they win? Throwing, rushing, defense.
But when we do that, when we do it and we not using some type of merit-based scoring system, right? We really put how we feel about it above the actual result of the game.
So Minnesota's number 1 then?
No.
Well, I'm saying based off that system, they got to be number 1. Kansas City ain't played nobody outside of Baltimore.
What I'm saying is, undefeated team, I would take the Chiefs over Minnesota. I could accept that.
Okay.
Right. Because I think Chiefs have like 2 or 3 quality wins as well. Like they beat Baltimore. I know
1.
They have 1.
Baltimore. That's it.
Yes.
If you want to count Atlanta, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely Atlanta.
Atlanta's a quality win?
Absolutely.
I give it.
Okay. So Atlanta's good. All right.
Okay. So all right. My only point is they would be the top 2 teams. And then you'd have to look at some of the other teams, because then you have to look at Green Bay. Then you have to look at Atlanta. Then you have to look at, there's several teams you'd have to look at before you get to Baltimore. And I know that with the eye test, what y'all saw, right? I get what y'all saw, but we cannot ignore the results of the game.
No, we definitely can't. And so where would you put Baltimore then on that? Or would they even be in the top 5? Because they got 2 losses.
Their 3 wins are who?
Buffalo. Let's see. Buffalo, Dallas, Bengals, Commanders. They're 4-2.
Yeah, I would get those. They would have to be. They with that. They still probably would be 3 or 4.
4. Okay.
Because you got a team. You got to understand. You got a team like the Texans. That probably they only gonna have one quality win in there.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at the Bears. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you say only one quality win, the Bears is 4-2. We just talked about Atlanta.
Yeah,
the Bears is that's.
I mean,
but because we going off the merit test, not our test.
Okay,
the Bears is 4-2. So what Atlanta Falcons?
Even if we go that, they would be Baltimore because they have 3 quality wins. You'd have 6. They both would have 6 points. It would be a toss-up. You know what I mean? You could take whoever you want.
Not mad at that.
So you picking Minnesota over Houston and Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying Minnesota got to be 2.
So you picking Houston? I mean, not Houston. Yeah. Minnesota over Baltimore in the game.
No, I'm not.
That's why I can't put them above.
And that's why I didn't put them above him.
So, but again, my point is when you're doing these rankings, like and I know what you guys are saying. I know what you guys are saying. But if you're doing the rankings, if it's just how you feel, like people get, I know you're doing it based on whatever. But a guy could really like Kyler Murray, and he say, I think in a game, Kyler Murray gonna outduel Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's about how you. I mean,
unfortunately.
My point is, you have to have some type, in my opinion, some type of merit-based metric. Now, you don't have to. When it's your rankings, you don't have to stick to it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you have to, because I've been watching, and you guys have been watching football a long time as well. All wins aren't equal.
No, they're not.
All losses aren't equal.
No, they're not.
You understand? Especially in the NFL.
For sure.
And a win against Carolina is, though on the schedule or in the standings, it's the same, but it's not the same as a win against Baltimore. It's not the same as a win against San Francisco. It's not the same, So because as Dallas Cowboy fans, we beat up on Washington and New York for half a decade.
Yeah.
And that does, and when you go into the season with 4 victories, man, you only got to get 8 more to get a.
Yeah.
You only got to get 8 more to get a 12. So what 12 victories sound like a lot of wins, but when you got 4 guaranteed almost, is it the 12-win season that we think?
No, for sure.
It's
for sure.
When I see a team dominate and win games in different ways, I put them like Kansas City can go out there and beat you throwing the ball or running the ball or with just a defense.
And take Kansas City because just be perfectly honest, they could have very well lost that game against Baltimore.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Almost every game they played.
Right. Like you almost in the reality is you almost could give Baltimore a half a point for a good loss. For a close loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't give them a whole point like a victory, but you could give them a half a point, And so when you look at the games matter. The games matter.
Sure.
All win. But I just think if you look at it, and I'm trying, when you look at teams that way, and you rank them that way, you'll get better outcomes. Because what's going to happen? Because I'm a better, right? Y'all know I bet.
We all are.
Unfortunately,
and at some point, you guys again, are you going to get to week 8, week 9, week 10, where you just accept that Minnesota is a good team and start making money off of them?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're going to, the public undervalues Minnesota just like you do.
For sure.
At some point, you're going to have to say, man, this guy beat these teams. Man, I'm just gonna go with it.
But to me, they win in the games the same way every time. Like that, and that's just not as attractive to me as me watching them win the game.
They're not. The only game they really struggled against was against the Jets, and circumstances matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Circumstances matter.
The Jets is 2-4 though.
Right. Huh?
The Jets are 2-4 though.
Well, let's put the Jets game in its proper context. The Jets have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't.
I can't give.
They have in years past. I don't think. I think they might.
Look at their ranking against passing. Nobody's done nothing against the passing ball.
Doesn't matter if you can throw the ball if you can run it though.
Yeah, I mean you can't run it on you.
You can run it. They not even the top 10. They not even the top 10 defense in my opinion this year. I think they're falling off. I do think they have a good cornerback duo, and it stops there. Quentin Williams is good, and it stops there. It's not real good.
Like I say,
he's super good.
To me, they put up some good performances.
Yeah, they've had decent ones.
Okay, let's be fair with the Jets. If the Jets had an offense that could average 24 points, they would be 5-4, and what I'm saying is they're not losing games because of their defense. They're losing games because their offense.
For sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
That's the reason why they're losing games. Like the Cowboys have a big problem. We're losing games because sometimes we don't score, and then we're losing games because sometimes we can't stop nobody. You know what I mean? Yeah. They know what their problem is. That's why they went and traded for Devontae Adams so that they could address their ability to score points.
For sure.
And so if they just think about this. If they increase their scoring average, if Devontae Adams is 4 points a game,
that's it. They win majority of their games. I ain't disagreeing with that at all. The offense is definitely their problem. The defense is good. I don't put them as a top defense, but their defense is good though coming into this. So the Jets,
way they play, I mean, Sam Darnold has carved up everybody, man.
I would say that. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I don't even know how you cannot deny that.
I wouldn't
say
he
had a good game, but like I think he threw
he's carved up everybody.
I think Brian. Yeah, he definitely been Sam Darnold. I think Brian Flores is more of to give the boost up.
Well, I put it like this here: he's getting a lot of opportunities, and he's cashing in on some of them.
Yeah, there we go. That is a perfect way to put it. That is a perfect way to put it. He is cashing in. He's doing his job.
That's a good question though. Like outside of Detroit against Dallas, and outside of Baltimore, and I guess Houston as well. Are there any good offenses in the league? Because the Kansas City don't look great on offense.
Green Bay is a juggernaut.
Green Bay.
Now, man.
I forgot the Malik Willis games. So
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying. I don't
know.
I think Green Bay's got a good offense. So that's a whole nother conversation, and hopefully that's one we can have throughout the rest of this week. But I got to wrap the show, fellas. Appreciate, the 2 hours go by quick, man. Appreciate y'all for jumping on the show with me. Had Conrad in the studio with me the first time. Hopefully it won't be his last one. Rocky comes on here every Tuesday. Appreciate him for jumping on here with me. Make sure y'all catch HBCU Coach's Corner at 8 o'clock. I got to get out of here, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow, 5 o'clock, same time. Make sure you're back here. We're going to talk some more about these NFL teams. As you can see, still plenty more to talk about. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. We will see you guys then. Have a great evening.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.